As an astrologer who has spent years peering into the cosmic tapestry, I've seen countless souls guided, and sometimes misguided, by the stars. The world isn't always a labyrinth of deceit, but it's rarely the fairy tale some believe it to be. Take, for instance, a client I once had, a bright-eyed Aries named Lily. She walked into my office with a story that still echoes in my mind. She'd lent her entire savings to a friend who promised to start a business, only to vanish into thin air. "I just thought he needed help," she said, her voice trembling with disbelief. Lily's tale isn't rare. There are those among us, blessed or cursed by their celestial rulers, who wear their hearts like open books, trusting too quickly, loving too deeply. These are the ones who, despite knowing the world harbors shadows, convince themselves the light will always prevail. And oh, how they pay for it, sometimes with their wallets, sometimes with their peace. Why do some souls fall so easily into these traps? The stars have answers, and they're not as gentle as you might hope. Have you ever watched someone you love stumble into the same mistake again and again, their trust unshaken despite the bruises? It's a question that haunts me as I study the charts of those ruled by fire: Aries, Leo, Sagittarius. These signs, radiant and bold, seem to carry a cosmic innocence that's both their strength and their Achilles heel. I've had clients from all walks of life ask me, "Why does my Aries sister keep believing every sob story?" Or, "How does my Leo boss get swindled by every smooth-talking vendor?" The zodiac offers clues, but it's the stories behind the stars that truly captivate. Consider this. What if your best friend, the one who'd give you the shirt off their back, is also the one most likely to lose it to a con? These fire signs, blazing with sincerity, often lack the guardedness the rest of us wield like armor. Let's dive deeper into their celestial makeup, because understanding why they trust so freely might just save them, or you, from the next heartbreak. To grasp why these signs stumble, we must first look to their ruling planets and elemental fire. Aries, governed by Mars, embodies the warrior's impulsive charge, direct, fearless, and unapologetic. I once counseled an Aries man, Jake, who ran a small carpentry business. He'd take on any client who walked through his door, no questions asked. One day, a slick-talking stranger commissioned a custom dining set, paid half up front, and promised the rest on delivery. Jake poured weeks into the project, only to find the client's phone disconnected and the address a vacant lot. "I just figured he'd come through," Jake shrugged, his optimism unshaken. Then there's Leo, ruled by the sun, the zodiac's shining monarch. Leos crave admiration and live for grandeur, often blinding them to the shadows. I recall a Leo woman, Vanessa, who splurged on a luxury vacation package after a salesman praised her discerning taste. The resort? A rundown motel with peeling paint and a kiddie pool. Finally, Sagittarius, guided by Jupiter, seeks truth and adventure with a boundless heart. A Sagittarius client, Mia, once told me she gave her last $200 to a street performer claiming to need bus fare home. She smiled recounting it, saying, "He had such a kind face." These signs share a fiery essence, uncomplicated, generous, and trusting, that makes them magnets for both genuine souls and cunning opportunists. Astrologically, fire signs lack the earthy pragmatism of Taurus or the watery intuition of Scorpio. Their charts pulse with action, not suspicion, leaving them vulnerable in a world that doesn't always burn as brightly as they do. But knowing their nature is only half the puzzle. What happens when these traits collide with reality? Picture this: an Aries charging headfirst into a friendship, sharing secrets over coffee, only to find their words twisted into gossip by week's end. Or a Leo, puffed up by flattery, signing a contract without reading the fine print, only to lose thousands. A Sagittarius, meanwhile, might hand over cash to a stranger with a sob story, convinced they're aiding a noble cause. These aren't hypotheticals. I've seen them unfold in my practice. Take Sarah, an Aries graphic designer, who partnered with a visionary entrepreneur on a whim. She designed an entire brand for free, trusting his promise of future profits. Profits that never came. Then there's Leo Daniel, a car enthusiast who bought a rare vintage Mustang from a charming dealer, only to discover it was a patched-together wreck. And Sagittarius Emma, who funded a charity run by a co-worker, later exposed as a personal slush fund. What ties these stories together? A refusal to see the trap until it's sprung. Their starry-eyed faith, beautiful as it is, casts a shadow of risk that grows darker with every unchecked impulse. Now let's reach the heart of it. This innocence isn't just charming, it's perilous. The stakes climb higher than a bruised ego or an empty wallet. For Aries, it's financial ruin from trusting the wrong partner. I once charted an Aries whose Mars squared Neptune, amplifying her gullibility. She invested her life savings in a pyramid scheme, lured by a friend's glowing pitch, and lost everything: house, car, stability. Leo's peril lies in their pride. Their need to shine can blind them to exploitation. A Leo client, Marcus, bragged about buying a priceless art piece at an auction, egged on by a bidder's compliments. It was a fake, and he's still paying off the loan. Sagittarius faces a subtler danger. Their kindness erodes boundaries. I'll never forget Sophia, a Sagittarius with Jupiter in her 11th house, who housed a struggling acquaintance. That guest stole her jewelry and disappeared, leaving Sophia questioning her own judgment. Data backs this up. Studies like those from the Journal of Personality, 2019, show high agreeableness, a trait these signs often share, correlates with greater susceptibility to scams. Their charts amplify this. Aries Mars drives action over caution. Leo's Sun demands applause over scrutiny, and Sagittarius Jupiter expands generosity past reason. When unchecked, this celestial cocktail doesn't just invite trouble, it hands it the keys. Yet, there's a bittersweet magic in their naivety that tugs at the heart. Imagine an Aries, fresh off a betrayal, dusting themselves off with a grin, vowing to get it right next time, and meaning it. I saw this in Lily, who, after losing her savings, started a blog to warn others, her spirit unbroken. Or a Leo caught in a scam, laughing it off with a theatrical flourish. Well, I gave them a show, didn't I? Vanessa, post-motel disaster, turned it into a hilarious tale at her next dinner party, guests in stitches. And Sagittarius? They'll forgive the unforgivable, like Mia, who, after her $200 loss, spotted the same performer weeks later and waved. No bitterness, just a shrug. Maybe he really needed it. Their resilience is cosmic poetry. Foolish, yes, but radiant. It's why we love them even as we wince. They're the friend who'd lend you their last dime, the colleague who'd cheer you on despite their own fall. Their innocence isn't weakness. It's a defiant glow in a jaded world, and that's a rare, messy gift. So where does this leave our fiery trio? The stars don't demand they dim their light, but they do whisper a plea, temper it with wisdom. Aries, slow your charge. Ask a question or two before you leap. Jake now keeps a ledger. It's not foolproof, but it's a start. Leo, let your sun shine, but peek behind the curtain. Vanessa's learned to Google before she buys. Sagittarius, your heart is gold, but guard it. Mia carries spare change now, not her rent money. The zodiac isn't a sentence, it's a map. These signs can keep their warmth without burning out, their trust without breaking. To my readers, if their stories strike a chord, if you've cheered their highs or mourned their lows, stay with me. If you want more tales from the stars, hit that like, subscribe. Your support keeps these cosmic lessons coming. And tell me, are you an Aries, Leo, Sagittarius, or have you loved one through their stumbles? Drop a yes or your birthday below. Let's find your starry kin together.